Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us once more on this beautiful Sunday morning on the West Coast, May 26th. This is Miguel Antonio Barragan, your co-host, joined as always by my other co-host, Andrew Don't Get It Twisted Lapachet. And this is the Mad Boxing Show, or Mad Boxing for short. Thank you once more for joining us. We had a relatively slow boxing week. We're going to go over some fights and some news that we've read, some rumors here and there. I want to ask some thought-provoking questions, and we can get people's creative juices flowing. Prepping us for this coming weekend's June 1st 5-on-5 card, Queensbury versus Matchroom, which will be headlined by Zhang versus Wilder. So there's some good fights coming up. Relatively slow fight week though, and then this last weekend, yesterday, I should say yesterday morning with Catterall and Taylor 2 that we will definitely be kicking the show off with. So we got some stuff to talk about. Not a lot, just because of how slow of a fight news week there was. But before we get into those details, as always, I like to check in with my co-host Andrew. What is going on, dude? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Miguel? Doing very good this Sunday afternoon. Three graduations yesterday, Miguel. So
You
we
put
were
some
all
miles.
over the we were all over the place, but all good. All the nieces and nephews, cousins, all graduating, moving on with their young lives.
Mm.
So yeah, those all good. Everything's good right now in the household. My daughter's home. I
Mm.
like that. My daughter comes home from college like every weekend now because she doesn't do she does remember that professional color guard, the Zeus thing I
Yeah.
was telling you about? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's over with. So we get to see her a lot more now too. So I'm very happy with that.
All right. So she goes to college in the same, state. Right?
State, yeah,
Okay.
she's in Sacramento. So
Oh,
I'm in
gotcha.
Tracy. She's in Sacramento. So, but on the weekend she's coming home now. So I'm
Mm.
I like that more
Did
than
you have to cross a lot of like toll tree? What is it, toll? What the fuck are they called? The
no no
toll
no
bridges? No.
no
Okay.
no nothing like that. It's we're on this side of the bay. So we're on the
You have to
same
go too
side
much.
of the bay
Dude,
line.
I went to California for my birthday back in March, and apparently I crossed a few tolls. There's some freeways I had to go through, and sometimes and that's usually how it is. They'll send you the bill later, right? It's like, oh,
Right.
we're paying. So I received the bill later. Apparently I crossed a whole bunch of them, but the department that they sent it from is like called toll evasion. I was like, I'm not trying to evade you guys. I thought you guys were supposed to bill me. What the fuck? Like, since when am I trying to get out of paying this? Like, I'm not trying to get out of pay it. I was just waiting for you guys to send me the bill. Isn't that how it works? But it's like toll evasion. And then if I don't pay it by X date, I already paid it, but it was like, if I don't pay it by X date, it like triples. I'm like, fuck, what the hell? Like, all right, let me get on it. Jesus. But the fact that it said toll evasion, I'm like, I'm not trying to, what are you talking about? I thought you just bill me. That's how it is.
Right.
It's like they're sending you a cable bill at the end of the month. It's like, oh, your cable evasion. You've been stealing cable
Guilty.
for the last, yeah.
Guilty. Yeah, guilty before innocent, I
Like,
guess.
how else is that supposed to be? There's no place that you just stop and drop the damn coins in there. Like, people have the little, code that you see. Like, I don't have one, obviously, because I don't drive around there too frequently. Maybe they followed me all the way out of the California. They're like, this fucker's trying to escape. Like, them. But anyway, that's the reason I asked you about the tolls. But I'm sure you put a lot of miles on your car.
Yes. Was it only $7 or how much did they charge you?
It was like $43, yo.
Yeah.
I must have
So
done a
you
lot.
know what? You might have
Mm.
went on the wrong lane, maybe, bro. There might have
Probably.
been. Yeah, there might have been a. I had 43. That seems like a lot. That seems like a lot
It,
of
it
money.
was a few because it showed itemized like how many times I did it, and I was like all right, seems like a lot because even when I went to go visit you and for December last December for Progray and Devon, they sent me the bill. I passed the view in the bridge a couple of
Hey.
times. It was
Oh,
only
that wasn't for that time. Because
oh,
bro, you better watch out. You're in a rent a car. You just gotta watch out, Miguel. You're
that
all
was when I went to
paying
go
for
visit
everyone.
you. It wasn't bad back in December. It wasn't that
Okay.
bad. It was like
Okay.
12
Okay.
bucks or something. It was this last time for my birthday in March, going to like Southern California and staying
All
in
right.
and stuff like that. That I got on the wrong lane there. I'm fairly certain because it was a 40
Yeah,
some
because
odd.
I was like, bro, fucking, I remember you coming down here. You didn't go over the bridge, no $43 worth. You did something not so, but if it's somewhere
Yeah,
else, I don't
yeah.
know.
It was
But
some.
that's hella funny.
Oh jeez. All right. Well, the main fight that took place this last weekend was the Josh Taylor versus Jack Catterall rematch. That at some point we didn't know it was going to happen, right? Because after their first fight that ended in a controversial fashion with a controversial decision, Josh Taylor ended up coming away with the victory, keeping his undisputed super lightweight championship intact. And then after that, he ends up fighting Teofimo Lopez and losing his title with him. So I think that's probably one of the reasons why he decided, like, all right, I'll give this fucker a rematch because I already lost my belt. Sorry, call it a day, right? But the fight, even though the first one ended in controversial with a controversial decision, this one wasn't exactly, down the line. It was pretty controversial as well. So much so that Bob Arum decided to hop into the ring and voice his grievances, which we'll touch on a little bit later on. But in the end, Jack Catterall got himself revenge by coming away with the victory against Josh Taylor in the rematch that took place in the UK. So it was a very, very fun, very entertaining fight. A lot of ebbs and flows. Tim Bradley pre-fight talked about what fight we might potentially see, and he kind of gave us a couple of options. He said, maybe it's the weight, maybe Taylor shouldn't be at 140 anymore. And then he said, but at the same time, maybe Catterall is just the guy that has Taylor's number. We don't know. Andrew, what did you see?
First off, I want the fans to know who are watching that whenever you see me turn to the side here, most of the time, Miguel, it's a little finger that is pressing in my back. and I get asked things like, can I have a cookie? Can
Also,
I?
so they're not ghosts. They're not ghosts.
They're not ghosts. No, it's not an intruder. It's my children. And right now, my daughter came up to ask if she could play video games. It, those are the moments, dude. That they're very brief, but it's funny as hell. It's like, where's your mother at? How do you get into my room?
Yeah, and telling you, dude, it reminds me of that fucking scene where that politician is like, recording, and his little daughter comes in the background. She's just like flopping away, right? And then the mom comes, or the maid, or whoever it was, and like drags her away, and he's like,
They figured out how to pick the lock, so now we have to get like one of the real locks. It's
yeah.
yeah, they
Oh yeah,
learned how to do that.
I
So,
did that.
but
I
no,
used to
that's
do it with
funny.
the fucking coin. That's how the cheapo knobs that we had back in the day. Anyway.
As far as the fight,
Mm,
it was a great fight. We waited a long time.
hmm
Not gonna say it was worth it, but it was worth it when it happened. Right? It's hard to say it happened, and it was still a great fight, and we had to wait a long time. So you could say it was worth it, even though I wouldn't want this for every fight to
hmm
wait damn near a year and a half, 2 years. Um, Dude, that was some high tech boxing that was going on last night, man. Seriously, I didn't agree with Timothy Bradley at all when him saying, "Oh, like in round 4, it's weight. It's fucking he should have moved up 2 fights ago." Then all of a sudden, fucking Taylor just turns it on, wins like the next I don't know how many rounds out of he. In my opinion, he wins the majority of the last rounds, bro. I have no horse in the race.
hmm
Miguel, we didn't even do a prediction on this fight,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
We're looking at this blind. I'm looking at this as a fan. I'm looking, oh, the two grabbing each other's throats, pushing each other.
Yeah.
What Catterall had to wait for. Like, I'm waiting for all of that, and it showed up.
Mm.
I got to see a third one. It must happen again. Please do not fight anyone else. Pick the biggest venue in the UK. Put down their 2 flags, and let's do this one more time. It sucks for Catterall that he might never make it to America if he goes in the third fight, loses to Taylor. Maybe he gets a shot over here. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But he'll be like the Groves. What was that one dude that fought Carl Froch? You remember that dude?
Yeah. George Groves. hmm
Nice. Good job. George Groves. Yes, sir.
hmm
Good fighter. Never makes it out. Carl Froch kind of stalls him right there.
hmm
That could happen here. It might not. I know they're saying he's the kryptonite to Josh Taylor.
mm
I didn't see it, man. Listen, 115, 113. I had Taylor winning this fight. 115, 113. Dude, in the last few rounds, ESPN is saying themselves,
hmm
Catterall is running out of gas. This is a huge round for Taylor. Like ESPN's commentating is saying it. I'm not just seeing it.
Mm.
Catterall moves back the whole time. The championship rounds, you get to just move away. The other guy's pressing, fighting. Ah. Hey, I have a question. Round 9, I have a question mark on. So that to me, that's a swing round. But the scoring, come on.
So who did you give round 9 to then?
I gave round 9 to Taylor, but it has a question mark.
A question mark. So
it's
swing round means it could have
That's
gone
right.
to
That's
Catterall,
right.
so that would have made it a draw on your scorecard then?
Yes. You're gonna do this to me again.
Yes,
You
sir.
take
Well, it's
1
just one
point.
round.
Yeah, 114.
Yeah.
Yes, it'd be 114,
All right.
114. You're absolutely right.
All right,
Yeah.
because that's precisely what because mind you, I was actually working because I work Saturday mornings, so I was like trying to like work and watch the fight at the same time, so it's difficult to score fights when I'm doing it that way. But I sure have my other scorecard, my dad in the living room watching that shit, and he's like, I came out after I was off, and now he's like, dude, they fucking took the fight from Taylor. They took the fight. I was like, really shit? Like what I
So
missed?
your dad agreed,
Yeah,
Taylor.
yeah, my dad.
Oh, me and your
Taylor got
dad
it.
are on the same.
Yeah.
Yes, I like
Yeah,
that.
you're on the same page with my dad a lot. He was
Yeah.
just like, dude, that's fucked up. And then he was like, did you hear Bob? I'm like, yeah, I heard him. You know, I heard, so like I was already off. And so long story short, I have a couple of wrestling events I'm gonna go to just as a fan, right? There was one yesterday and there's one today, so I'm gonna go later today here at the MGM Grand for all you wrestling fans. There's an AEW pay-per-view tonight, Double or Nothing on pay-per-view that I'm gonna attend at the MGM anyway. So I had to get ready and get crack-a-lackin' so I can go to that. There was a taping on Saturday yesterday, so I was getting ready while I was watching the announcing of the scorecards for Catterall and Taylor, and then I go out to the living room. My dad's like, "Did you fucking see that juice?" I'm like, "I saw part of it. I didn't get to see all of it. Damn it, what happened?" So I'm like trying to like still while I'm still on the clock watching the shit, and he thinks that he took it. So I've watched it since then, and I'm like, I sometimes I don't like to re-score fights because I get a benefit that the actual judges don't, which is a second running of the show. So
Right.
I try to watch the fight and score it at the moment whenever I do that. And then I'm like, all right, this is my decision. Fuck it. I can watch it again and think someone else won, but I'm like, I'm not changing it. I already, this is what I did because that's what the judges do. The judges don't get to watch it a second time and then rescore it. They get one shot at it, right? So I try to go in that direction. But I mean, based off of what you're saying and what my dad is saying, it seems as though Taylor should have gotten the nod by everyone there. I mean, even Hearn himself saying like, the scores were fucking wide as hell, but he thinks, of course, his guy won, obviously because afterwards we heard from Bob, which we'll touch on a little bit. But yeah, so that it seemed a lot closer of a fight than what the scorecards will lead you to believe.
It definitely was. One thing interesting is that round 11 also.
Oh
The
yeah,
round where he cracks him because he's losing that round big before that punch. Remember, the ref breaks him up, and ESPN says they go, "Oh, they're giving Catterall a little wind here." Boom! Soon as they go back, he lands a huge left hand, rocks Taylor. Round totally flips, but there's only like maybe half a minute left or something in the round. It wasn't a long period where Taylor was dominating the first half of that round. So I would like to see how the judges scored that one. If that was the round where they gave a draw, because can't that happen if it's 10-9 and one fighter gets dropped but was winning the round? That just makes it 9-9. I believe that's how that goes. Instead of
Well,
it,
it might have, but I don't think so because if I'm not mistaken, the score that I saw, I don't remember what round it was, but it was a 10-10.
10-10.
So it
Yeah,
wasn't a
that's
9.
weird.
So that it would have been higher of a score, I
Yeah, it should have
suppose.
been. It should have been 9-9 because I believe if you have the fighter winning the round but gets dropped, you just minus the point for
But
the
but they
drop.
they didn't count it as a knockdown, did they? Like they just both tumbled into the corner, but I don't think
No.
it was considered a knockdown officially. Because I don't think because they fell,
Oh,
but because they tied up.
yeah, you're right. Oh, you're right. But I was thinking about Taylor winning the fight. Yeah, then they just flip it to a 10-9. You're right. It wasn't a drop. He only hurt him. So that would still just flip the round to a 10-9. All right. Yeah, then I can't see why they would have a draw. That was the only round that I was thinking maybe that's where the draw came from because
Mm.
Taylor was winning that round big and then he does get rocked at the end there. But you're right. There was no standing 8 count. There's no knockdown, so it just should have just flipped to a 10-9 for Catterall. Either way, this is an excellent fight. I don't see a better fight right now in the division for these two guys than each other. I
Mhm.
think you take this third fight to the 80,000 seat, what is it, Wembley, whatever that
Mhm.
big boy is out there,
Yeah.
and you sell them. The crowd was crazy. The crowd might have been the reason why Catterall was winning.
Mm.
I heard it a lot on TV, but I'm telling you, people, it's not like being there live. When you're in a fight where the crowd is really into it and they're cheering for predominantly one guy, I know there was Taylor fans there, but it did seem like Catterall was getting the bigger cheers from the
Mhm.
crowd. That could win you rounds, right? He
Sure.
comes on with the flurry at the end. Everyone does the whole standing up, "Ah!" And they were, oh yeah, that was a pretty big round for him.
Yeah.
Hey, we say, man, I'm telling you, De La Hoya versus Mayweather, I hella thought De La Hoya won that fight.
Me too.
The
Me too.
we were cheering, the crowd's cheering, everyone's standing up. Like they did, there wasn't too many rounds where De La Hoya fans weren't standing up, like they had just whooped the shit out of Mayweather in that
Yeah.
last round. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
I don't mean whoop them as in beat them, but definitely outscoring. Like we
Mhm.
seen Oscar punching. Yeah, then you watch the replay, they might not have been that hard, but they're live. You see one guy bang, 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 like 4 or 5 left hooks to the gut. The other dude's just doing this. What the fuck? Those are all points.
Yeah.
That's the world that I live in.
Mhm.
The crowd sees that. We're all cheering. They didn't score it that night. Last night, maybe they're scoring it. They're
Mhm.
scoring the crowd. You had noise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
They get
so that
influenced by it. Mhm.
influence, exactly. So that could have played into effect. Bottom line, you add in Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum's beef at the end, especially Bob. You know what? Is he cloned? Is he cloned? Miguel, you know what I was thinking about? You know
Ah.
how many times I see dudes trip going into the ring and they're not 90 fucking plus years old? How the fuck does Bob Arum? They're disconnecting the ropes. What are
Yeah.
they doing, bro, to get him into that ring? Was he floating that bitch? He just goes.
Uh,
How does he make that step over the middle rope to get in? Bends over at 90 plus years old. That dude's he's amazing. Bob Arum's amazing at this point. So yeah, props to him for getting in the ring, grabbing the microphone. Do I like what he said? No, but he could have done it a better way. I agree
sure.
with what he said. Those
Mhm.
scorecards are bullshit, bro. They're Catterall is moving backwards. Dude, there's times where Taylor's landing combinations. He's not even ESPN. This is a huge round for him. Coming out of gas. Catterall's not doing this is things that they are saying.
Mhm.
117, 111, or whatever that was.
Yeah.
What? I got 3 rounds where ESPN is saying you're fucking full of shit.
Yeah.
That's only 3, it's just it is what it is, man. I like Taylor in the fight.
Mhm.
Don't say I like him in the third fight, but on this night, Taylor can watch that fight over.
Yeah.
Taylor can sit down with his kids. You don't have to watch the announcement.
Mhm.
Just watch the fight and then turn it off. And they will all go, yeah, you whooped his ass, Dad, and go on with their day. Fuck the announcement.
Mm.
There's always those type of fights, bro. Where the fighter, yeah, oh yeah, your guy won on a rainy day. Let's watch it. They don't
Yeah.
want to watch that shit. They know damn well they were given a decision. I think this one for Taylor, he'll watch that on any rainy day and be proud of the work that he did in that ring. Um, so that I loved it. I think boxing's on a fucking real good run right now. Um, Obviously, we had one black eye with another positive test. If you want to take
Yeah.
that off, go ahead and take that
we
softball. Here it comes.
uh, here it comes. All right. So yes, of course, we all know the results, right? The what we call the B results, or the B samples of Ryan Garcia's test. Now this was what test was this? Was this a blood test or urine test? Which of the two
This
was
is
this one?
both.
This is both. All right.
This is
So
both, and I believe he tested positive on both.
on
So
both, yeah. So as I understand it, we mentioned it last week as well because we were waiting for the results. Chris Algieri mentioned it during one of his shows. The usually when this happens, the B sample is always the same as the A sample because it is actually the same sample. He basically gets it, and then once they have the sample, they split it into two little beakers or whatever, and then they put them away. So it's like if one tests positive, then the other one's most likely going to test positive. And sure enough, it did. It tested positive for Ryan Garcia's B sample of ostarine, the SARMs or SARMS as they call it, for that particular performance enhancing drug. And it was, of course, a small amount, but it was there regardless. And we don't know how we're going to, or how they're going to take it from here. We've heard Devin and his grievances talking about wanting to make this fight a DQ win for himself. That isn't going to fucking happen. As a matter of fact, Eddie Hearn was asked about it, and he's like, no, it's most likely just going to be a no contest, right? No decision, which is most likely what's going to end up happening. But if you hear Devin and his pops talk, they swear they're going to try to force it into a DQ to get his win back. I mean, bottom line is, it's not going to be a loss on his record because of it, but turns out it's just positive. So what kind of suspensions will come of this? Hopefully, if some, because he is who he is, and he is associated with Golden Boy, so he might get a slap on the wrist. um, who knows? Hopefully not. Hopefully it's a much more serious one. But bottom line is, aside from what because he was also cleared of the nandrolone, I forget how the hell to pronounce it, but the other one, right? So it was cleared of that. But the bottom line is, he was still heavy deliberately. He made it a point to not make weight, which is cheating. And then now he's got this. So regardless of how this ostarine got into his system and into these samples, well, not into the samples, because he claims that he's being framed, right? So if they tampered with sample A, they're going to tamper with sample B, obviously. But if they came from him and he actually had that in his system, it's still his fucking fault. He needs to know what the hell he's taking to be able to come out clean and piss clean and whatnot. So even if he took it not knowingly and not seeing any real benefit to him in the fight, the bottom line is, it's in his system and it's a banned substance, end of story. So he's going to have to serve some sort of suspension for that, because he needs to be more careful with that. What you say, Andrew? What do you think about this whole situation?
So what I heard on the internet is he was over 150 pounds 2 weeks before the fight. And so it was like 10 days, 11 days, something like this, bro.
Okay.
He has to cut. Remember Victor Conte was talking about, if he had to cut an enormous amount of weight
Sure.
in a short period of time, that's where when you cycle, you get away with it because you're cycling, everything's good. But when you cut, whatever was staying in the fat tissue, whatever little molecules was in there, came out on the massive cut weight. We then hear it was on a interview. His weight trainer says it. And this guy basically just comes in to cut weight, does it for many athletes, comes in when they're overweight, need to make a certain weight, and he helps them. I forget the man's name, but it was an interview on you guys Google it, look this up, for Ryan Garcia's, how he was cutting weight before the Devin Haney fight. Kind of confirms what Victor Conte was saying possible, why he tested negative so many times before getting positive right before the um the um the fight. Ryan Garcia doesn't help himself by telling everyone, "Oh, I didn't need to make weight, wasn't trying to make weight, came in heavy." Well, yeah, then guess what? You were probably cutting massive amount of weight 2 weeks before. So, he's not helping himself at
No.
all.
His
The
mouth and his arrogance is basically like biting him in the ass right now. Like
yeah,
that dumb shit of him saying about, I was smoking and drinking leading up to the fight, but you come in heavy and you're like pretending, like, dude, you can't do that. Even if this is true, you don't say it. You don't say it on
cheating.
damn,
Yeah.
on freaking TV, on a national, on the internet. You can't be doing that shit, right? You just can't be spewing whatever the hell you want to, even if it isn't true, bro. Like, you're just trying to, troll us. Like, this dude really, I don't know what the hell he can't be right up here, dude. Like, for him to think, he really must think he's like the hottest shit ever, because he's gonna like just get away with this. Like, he's not gonna receive any repercussions or anything like that for doing the things and then admitting that he did them deliberately.
And so far, he hasn't. That's
Hmm.
going to change. We're
Hmm.
going to see some penalties financially again. He was already penalized in this fight off his purse. Now we're going to see it again. Because from my understanding is he had to pay the commission when he came in overweight, not just
Sure.
that side bet that he
Hmm.
had with Devin. he paid another amount over that. Some of that went to Devin too. So Devin made out tremendously at still not worth the beating he took. Let me put that there. But he made a good amount of money off Ryan acting this way. Not worth the loss.
Mm-hmm.
But so he's going to get penalized again. And that's where the DQ, the no contest, and the new financial strike or penalty that comes, that's where it's going to be interesting, because I think New York might make an example out of Garcia. I don't know what the maximum sentences for these infractions are, but I wouldn't be surprised if we hear that he got the maximum sentencing for these penalties that he got hit with. He mocked boxing.
Mm.
He mocked the commission, right? He's
Mm-hmm.
drinking beers on the scale. They say they're not beers. Doesn't matter. It's not a good look. You look this. It's a big middle finger to the whole everyone, right?
Right. Right.
No, man. Like, I wouldn't go light on this kid.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make sure he doesn't do this again in our state. Is what the
Or
commission,
anybody else for that matter.
exactly
Mm-hmm.
what they might be saying to themselves. So if I'm Ryan, I'm a little bit nervous on what. Now, the second thing I still got to put out there that I know the Haney's talked about it. I don't know why it hasn't been filed, and maybe it's because this sample B wasn't tested. They haven't went through those, right?
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if Ryan doesn't get sued out of court over this cheating stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
there is a case here. We have a guy, a sports athlete, that came out and confirmed that he was literally cheating during his match.
Yeah. Leading up, not only deliberately, but had it planned.
Had it planned. Comes in 3.2 pounds, which I still
Mm-hmm.
think is absurd that the Haney's took that fight. That's always going to be on them. I know that
Yeah.
I know that's what everyone's leaning on. Hey, well, they signed, so it's their fault. I don't know if the lawsuit will think that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The lawsuit will say, hey, you know what? They had a lot of financial pressure on them to continue this,
Sure.
right? That's what
Sure.
they're going to argue.
Yeah.
They couldn't back out. Now you get hit with 4 positive PED tests. So
Mm-hmm.
you're overweight, and this kid was on a pound for pound list. He's
Mm-hmm.
undefeated. He's got a better resume than Ryan Garcia. So Ryan winning benefited Ryan more than Devin, because Devin was already the man. You don't get wins against Lomachenko, Linares, Cambosos in Australia, right? He had big resume. What did fucking Ryan have but a knockout loss where everyone thought you quit?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot. To me, he benefited from cheating.
Right.
He stalled the career, if not ended the pound for pound career that was happening of Devin Haney. And I don't care if you like him or if you don't like him. That's what's on paper. He was a pound for pound fighter. And
Yeah.
I'm not a fanboy of he overweighs everybody. I don't give a shit. Did he
Yeah,
make the
he
weight?
makes exactly. He makes the weight. That's the problem, and that's the they overlook that part. They try to basically focus on how much he weighs come fight night when he's in the ring, completely overlooking the fact that he still beat his body up to make the weight 24 hours before.
Got to play by the rules, Miguel. You can't make up the rules. Devin
Right.
Haney plays by the rules, then I'm not mad. That's it.
So this is what I because I pulled it up, and I want to say the talks are already in the works. I pulled this up by I think this is I don't know if this is Twitter or Reddit. I think it was like Reddit. Team Haney, and this was like 12 days ago. Team Haney seeks to sue Ryan Garcia. This
That's
is what,
right.
what I'm showing, right? It says in a letter from Devin Haney from Devin Haney's lawyer to the New York State Athletic Commission, they seek to have Ryan Garcia the Ryan Garcia win changed to a DQ loss, which I don't think is going to happen. But it says citing several issues: 2 failed PED tests, purposefully missing weight, and illegal IV use. Hmm. I heard that one. I didn't know about that one, but yeah. So it looks like you mentioned it, and you actually said it a few times already. Yeah, I'm sure Haney is definitely going to. They probably waited until the second the B
That's
sample gets
4
tested,
now.
right? Yeah. So now they're like,
See,
oh, now we're really going to hammer the shit down.
yeah, and because he probably gave him more evidence. The time that this was written
Mhm.
still didn't scare Garcia in writing. Oh, I did it on purpose. I'll swallow any steroid. See all this shit that he's been writing lately?
Mhm.
People, we hear all the time what you put on the internet can affect you in court. Watch what you say, watch what you tweet.
Mhm.
Seems like an easy win for a good lawyer on a civil lawsuit about him. Just he like you said, planned to end the pound for pound career, the undefeated record of this man who would have generated this much money through cheating. He stopped that. We're going to sue him and then see what the jury wants to deliver. Maybe they agree and go, hey, you know what? We agree with that. He's not going to make 300 million though, but he probably would have made 150. So go ahead and give him that.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
would have made
Exactly.
he would have made 75 million. So let's
Mhm.
go ahead and give him that.
Yeah,
Um,
and then who knows how we're gonna see Haney and the I don't know, I sent you a video. I don't know if you caught it, but at the end of the Catterall and Taylor fight yesterday, uh, Eddie Hearn was in the ring being interviewed with Catterall there next to him, and he was talking about what's next for Catterall, yada yada yada, and then in there he kind of slightly threw in there, Devin Haney is gonna fight Sandor Martin next, and I was like, oh, what? I don't know what the fuck. I didn't hear about that. Like, what the hell? But that's apparently the
they've
direction
been
that Haney.
yeah, they've
So
been talking about Martin. Yes, sir.
so
Yep.
that's basically, and that's we're gonna see. And Martin is a difficult person, difficult fighter to look good against. That guy is fucking difficult as hell, right? So that's the direction that Devin Haney's going. And the reason I mentioned that is because we don't know how Devin is gonna respond to getting that fucking ass whooping. Because there ain't no money on the world. You said it earlier. Him taking the fight, him taking the money, him taking the bet isn't worth the ass whooping that he took, but he got because he got a beating. How he's gonna respond to that? How he's gonna recover from that? How he's gonna look in this next fight? Now we have a better idea of who it's going to be. It's going to be Sandor Martin, who's a difficult opponent as it is. So it's like, fuck, man, it's not bad enough that you're coming back from like one of the baddest, worst ass whoopings of your fucking career, the baddest ass whooping. But now you're going to go into the ring against a difficult opponent in Sandor Martin. I don't know.
Possibly,
Uh,
possibly defeated Lopez and defeated Garcia.
yeah,
Correct. He beat
yep,
Garcia,
he beat Mikey.
Fresno,
Hmm.
beat Mikey, and then he almost beat Telefimo. Right.
Yeah.
That's a bad
As a matter
dude.
of fact, I think he dropped him.
That yeah yeah
I
yeah
don't know if
yeah.
they counted that as a knockdown, but he had that one hook that kind of like
That's
he kind of cupped him over in the corner. But yeah, that counts.
it's a bad man. I don't know on a comeback fight. Those are
That's what I'm
two
saying.
pretty
That's what I'm
yeah
saying. It's
two.
like if we want to get a test or an idea of how well Devin recovered, you go into a little bit of an easier fight. That's just how it is. Got to get test him out, and it seems like he's going to stick around at 140. That's what it looks like. The talks of him moving up to 147, which were at some point talked about prior to his fight and his ass whooping at the hands of Garcia. I guess those are going to be, unless they're going to fight at 147. I don't know, but as far as I know.
147's dead. 147's dead. Come on. Spence has gotten a fight at 154. Crawford's got a fight at 160. Virgil Ortiz is at 154. I mean, there's no one left.
But so Boots in this isn't a superstar.
He's fighting at 154. He's fighting Zoo.
No, Boots Ennis. Yeah,
Oh,
that's not.
Boots.
Yeah.
No, who's Boots fighting? No, he's got a fight too.
Mm-mm. He's got to fight too, but I mean, he's not fucking. Nobody gives a shit about. I mean,
I
no,
don't.
no.
I don't think Ennis does not generate more money than Haney's sticking around at 140. You're talking Lopez. You're talking. You're talking a
Yeah.
rematch with Garcia. Possible Tank Davis. Possible Pitbull Cruz. That Pitbull Cruz fight. That's a land. What do you call it? Gold mine waiting to be
Mm-hmm.
tapped into. I think him versus any of the big names would generate a lot of buys right now on pay per view with the Mexican Americans here in the States and over in Mexico too. I mean, fuck wherever there's a Mexican, they might be buying that fight, right? 2 out of
Yeah.
3 might be buying that fight, bro. Put it
Yeah.
that way. That's how hot Pitbull Cruz is right now.
Yeah.
Almost the go-to guy whenever you're talking boxing right now with the Mexicans.
Hmm.
Sorry, Canelo, but he's very hot right now.
Yeah, well, he's on the up. He's on coming up, right? So it's
Yeah.
like Canelo has been on top for a while. So after a while, we start talking about who's next, who's the predecessor, who's going to be the guy next to be, the guy we talk about at the water cooler on Monday, right? Kind of thing. So, but that's funny that you mentioned that 147. Yeah, it's pretty dead, isn't it? Shit, man.
Yeah.
And that usually, I mean, every so often it has its moments where it's just a money weight class. We're not in that moment right now, isn't it? It's fucking crazy. It's like everywhere else because it's crazy how everything is like cyclical. It's like sometimes the 154-pound division is just like who gives a rat's ass. Now it's like, oh shit, we got I mean, Fundora making big splashes, and Sue and Virgil and whatnot, and fucking now we have Crawford and Spence back in there. I mean, not back, but at 154. So it's like, wow, damn, that's Oh, you know what? Hold on. I want to something. I jumped the gun a little bit by going into this into the Garcia talks, but we were, and I'm thinking about this right now because I happen to have Catterall and what's his name and Taylor in mind. We're talking about a trilogy potentially, right? It could happen, and even Taylor himself mentioned it during the some, I think it was a media scrum or something afterwards, where he said if Catterall wants to go on to bigger and better things, fine, I'm fine with it. He deserves it, but I definitely would like a trilogy. Um, does that fight happen in the UK, especially? I know that's where the money is, but the you don't think what's his name, Bob Arum, would be some sort of monkey wrench in this, like saying like, I'll be damned if I'm bringing my fighter back to the UK for anything, even though the money is there. It's
If
just him
if
being
you
pissed off.
heard
Uh,
if you heard Bob like a true lawyer, he said no American boxer. Josh Taylor is not American, so the door is open. It's his words. We
well, I
got
know,
to go off of his words.
I
That's
agree. I agree. But then what was the point of him hopping in there to begin with if he wasn't trying to defend his Scottish fighter? You know what I mean?
I think he wanted to let everyone know that he was upset with that scorecard, and he should have, because those scorecards were ridiculous. That fight was way closer than what they had it.
So you think he's okay with just with sending Taylor, Josh Taylor back to the UK for a trilogy? You're okay? You think he's okay with that?
Yes,
Okay.
because they'll look into the judges. You might get you maybe get some other judges from out of the country, right? They're gonna do one of those uh, contractual things where they all have to agree on the judges before this fight gets proved or some shit like that. And Bob will get one judge from Nevada in there. Judge Bob's, I'm bringing him. He's on my plane.
Yeah.
I want this guy. They're like, Bob, he's on your log sheet. What the fuck, bro?
Yeah. He's on the payroll. What's happening? It's like,
Right. Vegas approved him. Shut up.
yeah, exactly.
You son of a bitch.
What does
Bob's a
Lee
fool.
what does Lee say? He makes me good soup. He makes me some great soup.
Yes.
I'll leave him.
Make me my soup. Yes.
Shit.
Good one, Miguel. Fuck yeah, bro.
That's
Ay,
what I
ay,
thought
ay.
of when he went. Like Lee would have loved that shit. Seeing him lose his shit,
Oh,
seeing
dude.
Bob lose his shit in the ring.
We would have opened up with that. Come on
Yeah,
now.
that would have been funny as fuck. Damn it. Jeez. Bob is something else. Yeah, but that's some shit. But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that at you because
If
I was like, oh, we're gonna have a third one. I don't know if Bob will be okay with it.
if His Excellency Turkey a la Sheik,
Okay.
huh?
All right.
Huh? We're gonna get there. I told you, man. I just got you. Got to give me a few years, sir, Your Excellency, but I'll get it.
For real. Next, we're gonna work on Benavidez' opponent. Next, gotta get that name right. Shit. But anyway, you're doing well with this, with His Excellency's name.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So if he doesn't get involved with Catterall's career, I don't see there being any fight that's more lucrative than the Josh Taylor trilogy. If this man has any brain financially, you're going for the trilogy. You're putting it in the biggest stadium in the UK, and it's for all the fucking marbles, man. This is it. It's the third one. Dude, the fight last night, some high tech shit going on in there. You got to be a fan. It was a pitcher's duel with a little bit of home runs, right? Because we had the left hand that lands. Dude, Josh Taylor hurt Catterall way more times than Catterall hurt Taylor in that one
Mhm.
round that he
I
does
think
it.
Catterall got him to the body too. I don't remember what round it was, but
And
he got him
vice
to the body.
versa. Because it was Taylor that was hurting him to the body too, bro. Like, dude, it was some great inside fighting going on. Loved it. Don't see why these two men would go anywhere else. This is a trilogy. This is a Mickey Ward Gotti to the UK type of fight, right? This is a Vasquez Marquez type of ordeal. It really is. They should end their careers, especially Taylor, fighting each other. If Catterall wins, well, guess what? You're young enough. You're going to come over to the States and make more money. But if you don't, then whatever. At least they have these fights to lean on. I didn't like his game plan last night. I'm not a fan of winning rounds backing up. I'm really not.
Who you talking about? Who you talking about?
Catterall.
Okay.
I didn't like his game plan last night. So I that's why I probably gave Josh Taylor more rounds than the judges were giving. You know, maybe they're scoring for defense on him backing up, but it was Taylor who was pushing this fight. He was landing his shots. He wasn't Munguia. He's not just being effective. No, and I'm just using it as an example. Because Munguia tried his ass off, bro. He kept coming and coming, but it's not, you know, the other guy was winning, even backing up and just taking off on him. That wasn't last night at all. And ESPN kind of backs me on it on their commentating. If you listen to the fight, it's in the early rounds, it's Catterall, and then you start seeing this fight just slowly but surely moving to Taylor's side. And it never really comes back. The 11th round, he has 30 seconds, maybe, of great fighting. But the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds is him not. You know, so very hard round to score there. The second half of this fight, I thought Taylor really dug in. Give Taylor a lot of credit for all the slack that he's taken by me, the media, the ESPN, everyone about his weight, about his desire to fight, him moving up to 147. His desire's there, the skills there, his heart, the way he stood up to that punch in the 11th round, he showed that's still there. Dude, here's something. What's up with the eyes, bro? What did I miss? Because, look, I'm not going to lie. I just watched the main event. Didn't watch anything else.
Sure. Yeah.
I watched Taylor while he's coming already into the ring. So I didn't get all the stories that you hear in the, you know, them leading up to the fight. Sure. What the fuck was up with the damage under Taylor's eyes? Did you hear anything about that?
I didn't, but I too wasn't like listening that closely. I don't know if that's what it was. I mean, it could just be like a skin condition, because, like, I mean, sometimes guys
just baggy eyes, eyes. You think?
It wasn't baggy. It was like redness. Wasn't it redness under
the
eyes?
It looked like he needed, bro. It looked like he needed medical attention before the fight started to his eyes, and then literally, like in round 2, they're using an inswell already on one of them, and I'm like, yeah. I kind of seen that in round 1, though. What the fuck? Did this guy get in a car accident? Like, you know, have 2 puffy eyes and didn't tell anyone? That was the thing that I thought of. Maybe he got into a little pink and it was like, fuck it. Your eyes will be fine before the fight. Let's just move on with the fight. But if you guys go back, look at round when he walks in the damn thing. He already looks like he has puffiness under his eyes.
I did see redness. I'm actually pulling it up right now. I have it on.
There you go. There you go.
He does. I see it now when he's like walking into the ring. I don't know. Like, do you think like hard sparring just kind of is like the bruising is just now starting to ease up? Because I see it. I do see it.
You're not supposed to be sparring that close to the fight, bro.
Yeah, I see it. No,
I was thinking a car accident. He had some kind of accident, and they're like, "Well, you didn't break your nose."
But his nose doesn't look fucked up. Like, wouldn't it hit his nose first?
Yeah, no, and that's what usually causes the double black eye. You see? And I'm just throwing shit to you guys. I'm not a doctor. I'm just throwing shit at the wall here. But that was the only thing I could think of on why both eyes would be black. It looked like they have damage, bro.
Yeah.
And it's hella funny because hella early in the fight, they got inswell on him. Like, he wasn't even hit that much. And dude's all just working on his eye like it's the 8th round, man. What happened to him?
They got the insult on his ass on the way to the ring. Like, keep walking. Like, keep tossing that shit. We're not even during the announcement. He's just kind of there. Ready? Let's go.
Yeah. He's wrapping his hands. They're doing inswell.
Putting Vaseline on his ass. Like, all right, let's just massage that shit in there.
Yeah. That I did want to talk about that because I'd never seen that before on Josh Taylor. I don't remember it looking like that under his eyes. And then they talked about him having a surgery
Mm,
on his eye. I was like, man, was that some kind of side effect or something? You know, I didn't, you know, so that right away threw a light bulb. What maybe that's what the cause of what that look was on his face.
mm,
But definitely, I wanted to bring that up because that was kind of weird. Either way, great fight, both men. To me, they should just switch rankings. Whatever their rankings were,
yeah,
one guy goes at, the other guy goes right under them, and let's move on with
yeah.
life. Um,
What did you think of what's his name? I don't remember if he did this in the first fight, but Catterall's like kind of like Floyd slash kind of little defense that he was doing. Doing that a lot in this fight, and he came out relatively clean. Like he did get hit, obviously, but like facially speaking, like it seemed like he did an all right job at that. He would get hit, obviously, but
he
yeah, he tried pulling that off, didn't he?
He did. What he was not doing good defense on was the jab, the multiple jabs at a time.
Oh, I see.
Taylor
Okay.
was scoring a lot with that jab and then the body work.
Mm,
And I think that ultimately is what broke Catterall down at the end, in my opinion, because obviously I have Josh Taylor pulling away at the
mm,
end of this fight. I thought he slowed Catterall down just with the pressure and that little speed jab. They kept talking about Catterall's big step. He was doing the power jab, right? He's stepping into it.
mm,
Boom. Where Taylor's ping, 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 just right where he's at. Ping, 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 like four of them. And just constantly doing that. And then boom, that one big shot down there, straight left to the gut, or a right hook to the gut, straight left to the gut. Pressure, jab, body, pressure, jab, body. And at the end, dude's tired. He's gassed. His hands are already down, and the
mm.
combos started landing. Dude, in that 11th round, bro, it was Taylor's round. I won't even say I put fucking huge round.
Yeah.
Yeah, Taylor, big round. Ref breaks up fighters, gives warning. Catterall hits big left hand. Like, bro, that fight was going one way at the end there, and and dude, ESPN even goes, man, they're giving him a lot of win. He says something about air, giving
Yeah.
him a lot of
Yeah,
air
like
there, or
a
something.
break or something. It's like, oh, there is the
Yeah,
break or something. Yeah.
boom, big ass left hand. Like, oh fuck, there it is. But either way, you got to bring this one back, Eddie Bob. Eddie Bob needs to do a 5-on-5. Oh, we got to talk about the Mexican American war that's going to happen. Got to talk about it.
Oh, okay. Well, hang on. Before we get
No,
to
no,
that,
no, not right now. Not
oh,
right now. I'm just giving you. Didn't I send it to you? And
oh,
we got to
the
do it later in the show.
potential.
But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes,
Well, all right. I did see that. Yeah, yeah.
all
We could
right.
definitely touch into that, but to go into what the news is going on this week here. A few moments ago we talked about the how dead the welterweight division is, but how pretty much alive some other 140 on either side of the neighboring weight classes 140 and 154. 154. The recent announcement of a potential fight between Spence and Fundora. So Spence moves up to 154. It seems as though he's going to get first crack at Fundora, even though we talked about potentially it being Crawford, but Crawford already going in the direction. Well, that definitely leaves the door open for Spence to go in there and hop in there with Fundora. So it seems as though that fight's going to end up happening in October, is what I've read slash heard. What have you heard? What do you think about that?
Definitely, it looks like Fundora versus Spence is a go, with Crawford going up to middleweight to try to take on the WBO champ and then moving up to fight Canelo. Right now, rumor is that Canelo has denied the first offer for the Canelo fight. Um, the first offer
The
for the
Crawford fight.
Crawford fight.
Yeah.
If Crawford beats the
Wait, but
man,
he's not at 160. He's not going to be at 160, is it? Is it? I thought
no,
he's going to be
Crawford would
154.
then move to
No, no,
168
no.
to fight him.
Crawford's next fight, the dude who he's
Is that
fighting next, isn't he at 154? It's not 160, is it? I'm almost certain the guy that Maz, I can't pronounce the guy's name, but the Israel guy, the guy who he's fighting next, basically, he's at 154. If I'm
he's
not
at
mistaken.
154?
Yeah, I thought it was 154 because
All right. Well, then Crawford's moving up from 154 to 168. But
mm,
the next move for Terrence Crawford, if he's successful with this belt, was to face Canelo. I mean, that's
mhm.
been all
Yeah,
over
yeah.
the internet
Mhm.
with Canelo rejecting the offer from His Excellency.
Yes.
If Crawford is successful with that title defense, I think that you'll see His Excellency raise the money to get the Crawford Canelo fight here in America. Um, Crawford's right now. Canelo's playing his hand, right? He's
Sure.
calling his bluff.
Mhm.
Let's see how if he gives him a raise or what on the next offer. So that's what it looks like is happening with Terrence. With that happening, Terrence Crawford is chasing money.
Sure.
So have a nice career. I hope you get your check. Do not have you even close when in a fight with Canelo at 168. I think it's just too far away. I know the man is talented, but talent only goes so far when you're facing great talent on the other
Mhm.
side too. So and he ain't Tyson Fury. I don't think we have a problem of Canelo putting his hands behind his
Yeah.
back and wiggling his tongue and looking
Mhm.
at the crowd, and we won't be having that when
But
Canelo
but
faces.
what about Canelo slowing down? Because he is
He's
at
just
that.
too big. Right now, he can still go 12 rounds.
Okay.
He can still go 12 rounds. He's a lot bigger than Terrence Crawford. We haven't even seen. And now you're telling me this next fight is not even at 160.
Yeah, I could have
So,
sworn because
so
he's
he's
going after the
still.
WBA. He's going after the WBA belt, I think. I forgot what belt. Sorry, I forgot what belt. But I'm almost certain, and I
Is
could
it
be wrong too.
WBO?
So
You are right about
uh,
the WBO.
one of those two. So I know he's going after a belt there, and I could have sworn it was 154, but I could be wrong.
So
I'll take a look at that. But
he's still miles away from Canelo if it is 154. Let's say it is.
yeah,
It's a joke that he's the next fight is at 168. Come on, what are you, Roberto Duran? You're gonna look like a fucking. He's
yeah,
gonna look so big in his next fight, bro.
sure, sure.
Whatever. It's chasing the money, so he deserves it. You know what? Boxing stalled Terrence Crawford, and you know what? I'm no guarantee. I get these fights wrong all the time. He might go in there and put on a fucking show and win the fight. I don't know, but on paper, I'd like Canelo just off of
Yeah,
size.
yeah. Well, that's all
Uh,
we have is just paper. So
yeah.
until it happens, we don't fucking know.
So freaking no, Spence gets Fundora. They move on with that fight, and
How do
yeah,
you
I'm
see
not.
that fight going? How do you see that fight going?
It's really hard to say right now because it seems Spence can't stop a left fucking hand. He was always scared of the southpaw. Terrence Crawford realized it, got in there as a southpaw, and destroyed the kid. Like destroyed him.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a fight. It's not close at all. It's not a great fight. It's a great beating. It's a Terrence Crawford beatdown. That's what
Yeah.
made it great. It wasn't Usyk Fury where it was like back and forth, here they go, right, left, uppercut for uppercut. No, it was Terrence Crawford whooping his ass. So Fundora is a southpaw. Fundura's bigger. He's got a longer reach. He's younger. That's a recipe for another ass whooping, especially if Spence can't see.
Hmm.
We still don't know what the eye condition. I got no faith in Spence. Now he left his trainer. He's with the yes men, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Their next trainer is usually always the yes men. Fundora, 12-round decision, easy.
You don't think he can stop him with the
Um,
power?
I don't like calling that. Oh, well, he has been stopped, Tom. So
Yeah.
it's there. Yeah, if you want to go for knockout, if you want to risk the money, it's there because we've seen Spence stopped, and broken. Sorry,
Hmm. Hmm.
sorry, that fight was terrible. That the way he
Yep.
looked at the end of that fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. The knockout definitely on the table for Fundora, going up against him next.
That's going to be a solid one because on the flip side, the August fight potentially between Sue and Virgil Ortiz. Damn. Dude, the 154 pound weight class right now is fucking popping. Jesus Christ, with those fucking fights. So that one is, wouldn't that be some shit that we get the winner of Fundora and Spence taking on the winner of Sue and Virgil Ortiz. So damn, that's gonna be some bad fights. I don't know where Charlo falls into this. He's just kind of out, probably enjoying the Canelo paycheck that he got. But I did want to briefly mention that was kind of tight like that. I because I when Fundora beat Sue and everybody went to their social media, specifically Spence saying, I got next, or he was in the ring, right? He was actually in the ring, and then Crawford was like, "Get in line, buddy. You just fucking lost." Well, so much for that, because that didn't fucking happen. Crawford want to go in another direction. It's like, all right, if that's where we want to go, then cool. That sure leaves the door open for Spence to hop in there. So, um, I would have liked to have seen
Yep.
maybe Spence in a tune-up fight at 154 before he hops in there with a big dude like Fundora. But hey, who knows how he comes back with that? I go ahead. What do you say?
They all want guaranteed money, and Al Heyman isn't offering that anymore. And from the sounds of it, Amazon Prime might not be involved in boxing that much longer. It's
Mm,
that is catching a lot of heat fire now. That rumor
mm,
that Amazon is almost out of this deal already. That's not a good look. Even if it's not real, you have you heard Leonard Ellerby, Al Heyman, PBC, Amazon Prime come out and say no, it's not. We've made a tremendous amount of money and we're very happy working with the PBC. Have you seen any kind of acknowledgement on any of these pay-per-views by Amazon Prime? Not one. Not a viewership, not a dime they made on it, nothing from them. So where there's smoke, there's fire. We keep saying. I think it's
mhm,
for this article, this rumor also that Amazon and PBC are not working out right now. Terrible fight to start with. It's one of the worst fights I'd ever seen open up a new platform. It's a guy from Australia who's never fought on pay-per-view.
yeah. No proven track records on either one of those guys. I mean, the fight ended up being great, but that's not the point because people don't know about it ahead of time. That's the whole point. If they know about it ahead of time that it's going to be a spectacular fight between guys who are proven pay-per-view sellers, then more people watch. But it's just like that first Gotti and Ward fight. It's like no one, we knew the hardcore fans knew it was going to be badass, but the population in general wasn't, and there wasn't that many people in the arena. You have to know ahead of time that the fight's going to be badass for them to want to buy the pay per view, and that wasn't the case with initially Sue and Thurman. And like, who gives a fuck about those guys? I mean, in the U.S. at least, and then it ended up being a great fight with Fundora. But by that point, we didn't know it was going to be that spectacular
Most
fight.
most of the time in America, one man can sell a pay-per-view boxing match. It's the
Mm,
face of the main event. And on that card, the face of that main event was Tim Zoo, who had never been on a pay-per-view event in America.
mhm.
That's insane. It is a bad start. It started the relationship off wrong, and it so far hasn't gotten any better. I don't know if Frank Martin versus Tank Davis is going to change that. You know,
Well, Tank Davis is the face, right, in this particular instance, and he's going to be, I want to say, proven. I mean, yeah, granted, he got that big fight with Ryan Garcia a couple of years ago, or last year, early last year, and that was something, right? It was a lot of pay-per-view buys, but how many other people has he done that with? He sells. PBC has him on pay-per-view every one of his fucking fights. He certainly isn't selling the way I'm sure they hope, and maybe even Prime is hoping it's gonna sell. But
he's not even in the
yeah, he's not
division.
even.
He's not even in the division that his fan base is talking about. His division is talking about 140 now. His fan base.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking Garcia. They're talking Devin Haney. They're talking Pitbull Cruz. These guys are all above him. Even Telefimo Lopez is very well known in the PBC
Sure.
circle. He's from New York. He's been on all the hip hop shows, been on all the radio stations. They know who Lopez is too. Tank isn't even there anymore. Tank is fucking around with Lomachenko and guys that are really on the back burner on their side.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to move up. Why do you think Tank's trying to do that or the WBA is trying to
Right.
do the rehydration clause? Because when he does, if he moves up, he'll be fighting for a WBA title, and
Yep.
he's gonna right away. Oh, he can't be over 150. You come in at 140, but you can't be over 150, and then he'll be like 142 or whatever, and still be outweighed by 8 pounds, or you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Because
Sure.
I Tank is small, man. Tank is a
No, he
very
is.
small
He's
man.
small. Yeah, he's tiny, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's it is what it is, but he's not the face right now because they're not even talking about his division anymore. They're
Mm.
talking about him moving into the division where all the guys are at. You're not the face.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
the face, they'd be talking about them fighting you, not Tank needs to move up already. Tank needs to move up and fight these guys. Come
Mm-hmm.
on.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to fight somebody for fuck's sake. I mean, yeah, he's gonna go, and I've said it again, and maybe it's just me drinking the PBC Kool-Aid. I don't know, but that Frank Martin fight, I don't anticipate being an easy one. But we'll see how that ends up happening in June. But before we get into that, June next week, right? We're gonna have a 5-on-5 match versus Queensbury that I like to get into a little bit later on. But what you mentioned, the possible 5-on-5 card that has been rumored regarding, and please tell me if I'm correct, Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. This is the I guess how you say it, Mexico versus USA card. It seems as though that's kind of the rumors going around. I pulled it up here on my end. Listen to this lineup. This is fucking crazy if it goes down. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Caleb Plant versus Jaime Munguia. Shakur Stevenson versus Isaac Cruz. Brandon Figueroa versus Luis Albert Lopez, which is Venado, and Stephen Fulton versus Luis Neri. Now, this is leaked information, so who the fuck knows how accurate this is. The only ones that I've seen often cited is Canelo, Crawford, Plant, Munguia. The other ones, I don't even know if it's legit or not. Those can be fucking wrong names, whatever. But those are the two that have caught everyone's attention right now. That's the rumor as of right now. So, Andrew, what do you think about that?
I've got to lean on what Mr. Alashik said when he told us what he wants, he will get. Don't stand in my way. Right?
Yep.
If he put that card together, I got a lot of money saying that he's going to get that card. Bro, they got no other money right now. Boxing, this guy is kind of saving our sport right now because he's our last ditch effort. Now, I still don't know how it's going to turn out for Bob, who I think's on the way out. I'm sorry, love him to death. I don't know where Top Rank is going to be once Bob is gone, though. And Bob is in his fucking 90s, so we need to stop acting like he's going to be here, for fucking 20 years, okay? Eddie Hearn, De La Hoya, and PBC, who seems to be freaking up and down right now as a company. Sure. So one day they sound like they're doing decent, and then the next day it's like, no, they're about to go bankrupt. All their guys are leaving. They all want out. They're all jumping ship. And it seems to be that story a lot more than the other. I don't know how it's going to end, but he's definitely given us our last ditch effort. Dude, these cards that he's putting together, the fights that have been being produced by him, the outcomes, they're going viral. They're getting their attention that we need on the sport. I've heard people already saying, "Man, that was a good card," and I haven't seen a card like that. I'm like, "Yeah, no, dude, this guy is real. We got to put our. I'm a fan, right? You see this shit like this? Come on, bro. How do we not back this card as? No, you should buy it. You should watch it. This is one that will definitely, if you're having a party, this is going to entertain." The party.
It's worth the pay-per-view price.
That's
whatever
right.
It could potentially be. This one will be worth it because I've heard Bob Arum say this all the time. People pay the pay-per-view price for the main event. Like, okay, to some degree I understand, but I'm not going to pay that shit if the rest of the card blows. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
This seems like one of those cards that is going to be really stacked. And it is worth paying. It's I'm okay with not having to refresh my screen because it freezes, if I'm watching it somewhere else and not, buying the fucking pay-per-view because, the money is $90 for some fucking one fight. But if that card, I mean, just that alone, like, I don't even know how many of these, each one of these fights alone can be a main event, like on a, on a Golden Boy card or a Matchroom card,
card,
whatever,
yeah,
the zone card,
yeah,
one of those kind of things, right? In and of itself. I mean, Shakur Stevenson and Isaac Cruz, fuck, dude,
that's pay-per-view.
That's pay-per-view,
that's
right?
Pay-per-view, bro.
That's the fights we want to see, and it's a undercard fight. It's like, damn, if that is what's gonna happen, is it?
Look at August 3rd. August 3rd,
yeah.
Ortiz versus fucking Zoo is an undercard. The guy was just a pay-per-view 2-3 weeks ago. Now he's the undercard of a Zhang. I know it's coming up, but Zhang Wilder undercard. He is putting together some great cards. They seem to be coming out. I would love to have seen Better Beef and Bivol played out. I'd have liked to have seen that fight, but either way,
and we will still get it. We will still get it. It's just not yet. At least I hope that's the hope that we will still get it. They made it once. I'm hoping they can make it again.
I don't know what his ultimate goal is, but hopefully he starts generating enough money to see that the sport is worth the investment and goes all in and just takes it. Mm-hmm. It's possible right now, I think, because the fighters are not seeing the money that they used to see, right, and hear about, and now you have a guy that's got that carrot for them, right? probably more than, I don't think ESPN can match this guy's money. They could if they didn't have college sports and basketball and
Mm.
the NFL and the Major League Baseball. I mean, they only have so many billions too, right?
Sure,
So
sure.
it's like, Bob, we love you guys, but there's just nothing there, right?
Hmm.
So it's so go to him. It's right that you just go to him. that's
Yeah,
it. That's
no.
the shit they're gonna start hearing here if they, you know what I mean? If this
Mm,
guy keeps coming.
mm.
Um,
I got a question. Do you think, I hope not, but do you think it's too late? And I say it in the sense that we finally, I mean, again, we got Garcia and Tank, right? We got, and they got 1.4, 1.2 pay-per-view buys, right? Million pay-per-view buys. But we also get Spence and Crawford, and then that didn't do that what we expected by pay-per-view. We're seeing the pay-per-view numbers drop from Canelo and really everywhere pay-per-view. Now this shitty ass, have has the boxing fan been jerked around too much to where like, oh, now they're giving us these fights. Now I don't even give a fuck. I'm so over boxing that I'm onto something else, because that's what I hear the most complaints about people who used to like. It's not what it used to be. Yes, I get it. It's not what it used to be, and understandably so. But it's like they've lost so much interest in it that's like they only will pay for the pay-per-views when the cards are like this. It won't bring them back full time the way it was before. But is it too late? Have we as boxing fans been jerked around too much that the general public like, I don't give a fuck, because this card is stacked for us because we know who Isaac Cruz is. We know who Shakur Stevenson is. Does the broader general public know who these guys are? For us, it's worth the money, but I don't know if they give a fuck. So I guess that's my question: is it too late? Has boxing jerked around boxing fans too much to where at this point, even a card like this, they're like, I guess, sure.
Pitbull Cruz is on this card. He's extremely hot right now, so that should get views, right? Terrence Crawford's extremely hot right now. These are two totally different markets that are going to come together. I think this one, I think it pay no, I think this fight is going to do fine, and it's going to grow with this man. If he continues to invest in these fight cards the way he is, the fans will come back. I think we need to remember Ryan Garcia and Tank did 1.4 million.
Mhm.
Sold out the arena at like, I don't know, 17 million or something they made at the arena. It was almost a record breaking
Mhm.
uh, gate. So the fans are there. They want to see good fights. They want to see the best fight the best. It looks like Mr. Ali Sheik is going to deliver us that.
Mhm.
So I'm in a positive mindset that we will pull out of this. Like I've been telling you guys for a while, I think the investors got tired of the Floyd Mayweather egos
Mhm.
and said, "All right, let's pull out. It's time to let these guys dry up a little. Let's make them starve a little, and we need their stomach to be growling. So when we
Mhm.
come back and give them a little bit of some food, they'll fucking eat and shut up."
Yeah, that'd be grateful
And
for the peanuts that we're gonna give them.
that, hey, it's not peanuts though.
No, I mean that's not. I mean
The
it's
the
fingers food,
the
but yeah,
yeah,
it's still
but
gonna
the
be. It's
the
gonna be more. It's not gonna be what they're asking, but it's gonna be
the
something.
the mindset that I should be making 20 million because I'm 30 and 0 is will not be there anymore, right? Or I don't want to fight that guy because if I lose, then I'm not going to make 20 million. Like all that'll be gone. They're trying to get that out of there. That's what I'm hoping. I got, that's just what I'm hoping when I see the companies leaving the sport like we've seen and the platforms leaving the sport like we've
Sure.
seen. They're pulling out. So boxing has shown, and Ryan Garcia, no amateur background. He has no gold medal. Olympics didn't bring him out. I think we need a fighter like that. We need a Leonard and Ali or a De La Hoya, a Roy Jones, not even Evander, because Evander wasn't as big as those other names that I just named off coming out of the Olympics with gold. We need, a kid that America falls in love with before he's a pro. And
Sure.
that's what those guys were. Um, they came out making $1 million. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Um, so that's I think boxing's gonna be fine. I think we're getting milked. We're getting starved a little. But the numbers, listen, let's not forget. Now they're saying Fury versus Usyk streamed by 20 million,
Hmm.
illegally streamed, Miguel.
Hmm.
Can you
Hmm.
believe this, Miguel?
Yeah.
Look at people.
It's
There's two boxing fans on this show right now. 50% of us bought this motherfucker.
It's the undercard. I'm telling
So,
you, I don't pay for the fucking.
so if we
Yeah,
go off of our poll,
yeah.
one
Our
out of two boxing fans are streaming.
yeah. This is an anecdotal result, but it is you know, it is
Isn't
the
that
gist.
isn't that how politicians do it?
Yeah.
We pulled the office space. I'm clearly winning in this county.
Geez, Andrew, you're like one of us in this fucking show paid for the pay-per-view. Can you guess who didn't? You guys send us your results. Who do you think did? They, hashtag VIP box.
No, not hashtag that. Damn it, Miguel, this is the problem.
But the card. Give us the card. I'll pay for the card. You don't just give us one main event and
No,
think
that's what
that's
it
gonna.
turned into. You're absolutely right
Yeah,
about that.
but that's.
Uh,
I mean, damn. Do you think they're gonna fucking give us that card? Shit.
Bob Arum in the 90s turned Don King's boxing into one fight, the main event. Everything else is trash, and we bought into it. Don King had us on a whole UFC level. Don King, there was 4 champions. His fight poster used to be all the fucking fights, not just the main event with some title. It was like Chavez, Ali, Norris, Hernando Hernandez, Jesse James Leal, and all their fucking world titles underneath. You know what I mean? Like, get out of here, dude. It wasn't just Chavez and whoever. The guy sold cards, cards with an S. So I'm happy with him. At first, and look, he's coming to America. That if August 3rd does good, Crawford versus Canelo will be in America. This is all positive, man. Now he's bringing that money over here. I love the way Dubai looked. Saudi Arabia, excuse me. Saudi Arabia has growing pains, though, in the boxing world, what we are used to, the nightlife, the gambling side of it, right? I don't think they can become the Mecca. Seriously, Floyd Mayweather being held in Dubai does not help Saudi Arabia attracting tourism. It just doesn't. We link them together because we're naive. I don't know a map. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's all a bad light. You know, you keep hearing these stories of people going out there and getting significant penalties for little infractions that here in America we do and walk away. A girl can damn near slap a waiter and not get a charge sometimes. They'll be like, ma'am, don't do that. Get out of here. You're intoxicated. Please go. And that's it. It's, over there it's like, yeah, fucking, like they gave her 6 months in prison or some shit for raising her voice. The no drinking. There's a lot of growing pains out there. Remember, in the Olympics, it got so bad. Where was that? In Qatar, I think? It got so bad out there, the last Olympics, that they had to lift the no alcohol ban. Did you remember that in the Olympics?
No, well, the World Cup. Wasn't the World Cup?
Oh, the World Cup. There you go. There you go. Yeah.
I think about that. Yeah.
They lifted it, bro, because the fans were like, "This is bullshit."
Well, it's like the sponsors, bro. It's like Budweiser's a huge fucking sponsor. Like, how you gonna be in the damn arena watching a fucking badass soccer game in a big brand new state of the art stadium and be like drinking fucking chocolate milk? What the fuck? You gotta be having a cold ass beer or a cold ass margarita, whatever the shit is they're drinking. But yeah, dude, that it's like it's happened. It actually happened. When was it? In Brazil, I think it even happened. Brazil as well. They were with one of the World Cups. 16, I think. Same shit. They were like, no, the alcohol is gonna cause a lot of shit. Budweiser came in and said, man, fuck your rules. We're gonna put fucking Budweiser in the shit. We're gonna plaster it all over, and they won, dude. It's like that shit wins. It's like
money wins.
What do you think are the chances of maybe this kind of card that like let's say Crawford, Canelo with this undercard, maybe Allegiant Stadium, bring the money back to Vegas. Like, let's say it's like, oh shit, okay, they're going through the growing pains. Vegas knows what's up, and there's gambling and everything else. Boom, Allegiant Stadium.
The first fight that he's doing is in LA. In LA. I like the Allegiant Stadium, bro. I don't know why no one's tapped into that stadium yet. It's really weird. We watched Fury versus Wilder break records in Las Vegas for the live gate, yet the third fight was not at Allegiant Stadium. It's really weird how, and the UFC, I always think, with the way they say their fan base, is the biggest fan base in America for combat sports, why haven't they tapped into the bigger stadiums? I don't know the reasons for it. So I can't
I know the UFC is going to have an event in September, Mexican Independence Day weekend at the Sphere, that new
Yeah,
Sphere
but
thing.
that's way
And
smaller.
no, it is way smaller. Yeah, yeah. The only thing I know, as far as like, I don't know if it's confirmed, but next year's WWE WrestleMania is supposed to be at Allegiant Stadium. But that will bring a fuck ton of people. But just one, I don't think one event is gonna change that. Bringing more fights to Allegiant Stadium would be badass. But that's the only thing I know that is either confirmed or rumored. I don't know. I'm not. I don't follow it that to that degree anymore. But next year's WrestleMania, and it's a 2 night event, as a matter of fact. Ever since COVID, for some reason, they make the WrestleMania events 2 night events. So, as I understand
I
it, that's going to be in Allegiant Stadium.
I watched a concert at the Sphere online.
Yeah.
While I like the visual effects that that thing puts out,
Mm.
it totally drowns out the performers. For
Mm.
some reason, dude, you get stuck looking at those screens more than you're looking at the man you paid $700 to watch play a guitar,
Mm.
right? I mean, the thing goes all the way above your head, it looks like. So you're doing like this whole thing, during the show.
Yeah.
Wow. Ooh. Ah. And the guys don't move from the stage.
Yeah.
So I think in a combat sports scenario, if they're going to show that octagon all the way to the roof or something, it might drown out the little octagon size that you see in the ring.
Mhm.
So I don't know how that's in long term, how that, if you're going to have repeat customers, that might be something you go, it was cool. I went one time. I'm not paying fucking $400 to go fucking do this the whole night, not
Yeah.
actually look
To,
at
to watch a screen, if I'm going to
screen.
pay X amount of dollars, I'm going to be watching the fuckers in the cage.
Have you ever seen, you see Santana do a solo on a guitar? That's what you really want to watch. And maybe they should put, instead of doing the elephants walking through the safari and the fucking birds, and it's all nice, but maybe you should put the performers actually playing.
Yeah.
That's probably the answer to that one. Maybe they'll get that one straightened out. As
Mm.
far as the octagon in the ring, I don't, because it does look very small, dude. When the guy is
Mm.
doing the film and he points down to the stage, it's like, holy shit, that's high. I don't know what that's gonna look like for a boxing ring. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It might not be. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be. It'll be worth it one time.
Yeah.
Don't know about the repeat customer in
they
that kind of
they
scenario.
might do it, like they might make the event and then they'll see like, oh shit, this isn't what we thought it was going to be, and then never again. So it's just an experimental thing. Allegiant Stadium, on the other hand, they better be fucking tapping in that son of a bitch. And
Yeah.
hopefully something like that comes around with His Excellency and a stacked boxing card like that, because it's there to be used. You know what I'm saying? It's we haven't used it as much as we liked.
Yep. Yes, sir.
So on that subject, of five on
Definite.
fives, go ahead.
Definitely Las Vegas though for the Mexican American War.
Mm,
We got to call it that. It's the
yeah.
Mexican American War, dude.
Mm,
Fucking bring it. Let's go. This is the two best. In my opinion, my argument has always been the two best fighters come from these countries right here. And America is the mecca of boxing. Everyone outside, they need to come here and beat either the American, the Mexican, Puerto Rican. Those are the best fighters in the world, and they fight on this stage. Here we go. We're gonna do 5-on-5, and Terrence Crawford, Canelo. While I don't like the fucking fight because of the size, the two names, they're gonna attract eyeballs. It's gonna be a big event. Like I said, I'm not in Terrence Crawford's camp. Maybe he comes in light and tries to box the shit out of Canelo. I don't freaking know. Um,
yeah.
but for that as a conclusion to this card is, yeah, let's make this happen. Let's make this happen. Let's give the man the keys and go ahead and
Let's like give him the keys, but let's have a little string attached to it just in case, because we don't know how shit's gonna happen. That's kind
bro,
of the
without him, we're getting bullshit
I know,
cards.
but we can talk about it. Floyd getting stuck over there, that's kind of like shit. What that's a scary part of going over there. It's like, well, it's a totally different fucking rule
I
set.
want him in America. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no,
You're
no,
right.
I got you, I got you. But I mean, he's
You're
gonna be
right
the
on
one
that.
that's holding the key. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Yep.
he's the dude over there that's holding the key, even though the fight is in the U.S. But it's like we're gonna give that much power to that dude over there when shit's going on. On the subject of that, the rumor is, right, Floyd. We know that Floyd is over there still, as we
Oh
know
yeah.
it. That part is true,
Yes.
but um, in regards to the reason he's over there. Recent developments slash rumors is no longer what we thought it was earlier in regards to one of his bodyguards stealing someone's watch or some shit like that. Now it seems as though we suspect, at least again the rumor is, because there's no way for knowing for us to know now, that it's a gambling issue.
And Miguel, let me tell you, they're saying this is politically driven on why it's not in the internet. The administration don't want no beef with the Middle Eastern country about a U.S. citizen being held
Mm.
over illegal. And look, they're saying illegal gambling is a reason now. When I say illegal gambling, you guys got to remember, gambling is illegal in that country. So for Floyd to be getting in trouble financially gambling, he was doing it illegally in some black market. I don't know if it's the mob. I don't know what kind, I don't know what
Yeah,
runs out
some
there.
underground shit.
Exactly. So do you really want the Joe Biden administration want any hands in this?
Yeah.
So
Or is it just like
this,
sacrificial? Like, all right, let's he fucked up.
yeah, no, exactly.
Mm.
If it gets real bad, like if the guy all of a sudden Floyd's got a life sentence or some shit,
Yeah, or they're gonna
but
fucking hack his hand off or
I
something.
don't want to say that, but yeah, you know where this
Stone
is
his ass.
going.
No, yeah. Whip
Uh,
him.
then they would probably step in and go, hey, no, what the hell's going on with our guy down there? Right now, it's kind of, they're seeing if this can get swept under the rug and everyone move on with their day, right? Floyd, pay your debt, sell your house, do whatever the fuck you got to do, pay it off and get out of there and don't ever return.
Mhm.
Don't ever return. Seriously.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's like don't even think about it, yo. Like at this point, you've had your bad experiences. You got away with your health, intact. Yeah, granted, maybe not your wealth, but you still have your fucking life, and you can make your wealth back again. Maybe, but yeah, that's what we've heard. So. Damn, and I saw just to kind of bring this up. I follow the Vargas's boys on Instagram, and Emiliano posted a picture of him saying, thank you to Floyd for his words. This was like a day or two ago, and it looked like, I was like, what the fuck? Where the hell? Where's this at? What the hell's up? What's going on with Floyd? But you can tell that the photo is like from the Mandalay Bay Arena, which had to have been some time ago. So it's like, all right,
Right.
it's not anything that is new necessarily, but I'm not sure what that was referenced to. But it seemed a little coincidental that now we're not hearing from Floyd, and then Milano posts this picture. So I'm not sure what I mean. Are they having contact with him? Are they having conversations with him? Who the fuck knows? But seemed a little sketch. But I mean, that seems to be the issue. It seems to be a gambling issue, no longer what we thought originally in regards to his bodyguard stealing a watch. But
And
let
overall
me just clear that.
overall a financial issue.
Yeah, yeah, right, right, right.
It's
Yeah,
still leaning
him owing.
towards,
Yeah,
yeah, it's still leaning towards Floyd's cash flow is probably now dried up. Look, credit goes a long ways in America, especially when
yeah.
you have assets that Floyd has, right? These creditors, they'll look at that. You could take whatever you want out of jewelry stores, car shops, anything.
Mhm.
But when it comes to illegal taking cash from some shark, loan shark, and hopefully it's not the government that was loaning him this money to do some back end gambling in one of their establishments. Let's not hope it goes that high. We're hoping that he's messing with the street thug. But when you're talking about the money that they're saying Floyd lost, bro, they don't just loan 50 million out on the street. They really don't. It might be in your rap songs, but it's not in real life. It's
Mhm.
not. This is higher than that. And they're saying, look, you got to go back to when this story first started and they talked about Floyd being detained at the airport. Was he
Yeah,
really trying to jump on a plane to ditch some loan shark, right?
yeah. He
And
was
if
trying to.
those
Yeah, he was trying to get away with it. He
he
was
was
trying to
trying to
fucking.
get out of there.
Yeah.
And with these guys being connected, they're hey, I'm only going with this. The government officials is what's holding him right now.
Mm.
Somehow this illegal gambling is linked to the government. It goes a lot bigger. This is a lot bigger than this is why it's out of the media right now.
Mm.
Um so yeah, Floyd needs to call Mr. His Excellency. They need to strike a deal to get him out of this. This needs to get cleared up before it gets heavier. Um but Yeah, sucks to be Floyd. I just wanted to clear up, you guys, that it doesn't seem like it's any bodyguard. That was all fucking trying to hide the gambling.
Mm.
What seems to be a gambling problem. Hey, we just heard it from Bruno Mars, right? What did they say about Bruno
Oh yeah.
Mars in fucking Las Vegas,
Yeah,
Miguel?
he owes like 50 million bucks or some shit to fucking Vegas. Yeah, that's what I heard as
So
well. It's like,
he,
oh shit.
he owes his whole contract, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Pretty much. Yeah, that dude's in some deep fucking water with that. I mean, I don't know to what extent it is now, but that's supposedly he's in some real deep shit with like here in Vegas owing 50 fucking million bucks. Good lord. I don't think I'll ever
So
see million for that amount of money, let alone owe it. Good Jesus Christ. Dude, do you remember? You remember like in the 90s, and I know this is a completely different country, but it's still, it's that Middle Eastern, well, it's even further, more Asian, Malaysia, but about the young boy who was like caned in fucking Singapore back in the day. You remember that? Like I thought about
the
that.
American, you mean?
Yeah, the American. Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course, he was
That's
spray painting cars.
yeah, yeah,
He
right.
was a
Like,
college student that was vandalizing. Yes, I did. My mom
like
made me.
watch that.
Yeah, I think we only got the audio, right? When they actually did it, I want to say we were able to listen. We didn't get to see it. Over there, they were showing the whooping.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I think,
Yeah.
and then the kid passes out. I'm sorry. Go on. You
Yeah.
struck a
No, no,
nerve.
no, that no, because you remember more than I do. I mean, you like I remember hearing about it, but I wasn't into news. I was like fucking like not 10. I don't fucking I don't know. But I mean, you got a couple of years on me, so maybe you have a better memory of it. But
He
that came to mind when I thought about like, oh shit, Floyd being,
Floyd.
like, oh shit, was they gonna like lash that motherfucker? Like, oh damn, that's gonna get to that degree. Obviously, different countries, obviously different parts of the continent, one end of the continent and to the other. But nonetheless, that came to mind. But you remember, right? Because I was like,
Yes,
shit, something
dude.
about
He passes out. He passes out, and the play-by-play guy was like, they're gonna wait for him to wake up and then they will continue the
oh
punishment.
damn.
Yeah, dude, he passed out.
Oh,
They woke his ass up, start whooping
yeah,
him
it's like
again.
little like smelling salt under him. Like, all right, wake up, ready? All right, keep going.
It would even be worse if they just let you sleep. You
I
wake
know.
up like 8 hours later, like, oh, that wasn't so bad. No, 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 it's not done.
Yeah,
Everybody back in, cameras roll
yeah.
again.
Like, you got to be conscious when you fucking feel these, so you can remember what it's like to not do this again. But that came to mind when I heard about like Floyd. I'm like, oh, because I mean, if we're gonna talk about Floyd, if he owes, I mean, so it's almost like a two-pronged thing. It's him owing money and then him illegally gambling. So it's like it's two different things, right? So it's like
Yeah,
it could be
yeah.
twice as bad, the penalties, and how he's going to get out of this sticky situation, this uber sticky situation. So it's not just one thing; it's two things, and the other one is more serious than the other. So that came to mind. I was like, damn, is that how they're going to handle it? They're going to lash that motherfucker or something? Like, oh man, it's going to be some crazy ass fucking news. But anyway, yeah, I thought I remember that the caning of that young boy. I was like, shit.
Definitely, I think is going to end in two solutions. One is you're going to hear of a massive sales of Floyd Mayweather assets,
Mhm.
or you're going to hear of a comeback fight with Mr. Turkey Ali Sheik. Seriously, that's his only. I think his only two options
It's
right
gonna
now.
be discounted. Like his house is gonna be discounted when he
What
sells
I
it. It's not gonna be worth. We
what
talked about
I
how well he can't resell his cars. Go ahead. Yeah.
what I want the boxing world to answer, what we're going to put on our show, maybe a survey on the online. Do we want to see Terrence Crawford move up and face Saul Alvarez, or Terrence Crawford face Floyd Mayweather in a one-time comeback fight? And people, before you start with the bullshit, this has happened in boxing. We brought it up last week with Leonard. Leonard was a big fan
Mhm.
of coming back and whooping ass. Like, didn't need your stupid warm-up fights. Which one do you want to see, Miguel?
Oh, I want to see Floyd. I want to see fucking Floyd, and
Right?
I want to see Floyd and
Even if
Crawford.
it's
Shit. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, I want to see that shit.
even if
I'll
it's
be there
just
for
a
that.
comeback
Yeah.
fight, right?
Even if it's just like a one time, like
That's what I'm
legit,
saying,
no
dude.
no exhibition shit. No, like no, we're gonna fucking throw down. Athletic commissions,
No,
yada
no,
yada. I'll take
bro.
that.
Floyd's fighting for his life right now. Believe me, the man's gonna be fucking ready.
Mm.
Hey, you set him up a deal where he only pays half of his debt off. You'll pay the rest off in fight number two.
That
And
yeah
that man will have an 8-pack again. It won't be a 6-pack. It'll be an
yeah
8-pack. He will be
yeah.
ready.
We'll see those videos of him jumping ropes beginning to circulate the fucking internet and him on the damn, whoever the hell holds the pads for him to do his fucking choreographed shit. But we'll be
We
seeing those.
we need that answer because it leads to Canelo's redemption.
Mm.
Because it leads to Floyd Canelo too if he gets past Terrence.
That would pay his debt, right? I guess
It would
one fight with
absolutely
Crawford,
pay
one fight with
everybody.
Canelo.
Yeah.
Shit. Wow.
So this is hopefully this is the game plan that His Excellency has, because he has the money to pull this off, and Floyd's in the position. We know Canelo wants the rematch. I think Canelo might even take a fucking pay cut to make that fight happen again. It
Yeah.
brings his career back to it's full circle, man.
Yeah.
It's full fucking circle.
Well, I actually was going to ask you about that. I mean, not to get off the subject, but we had talked about it before, even when we talked about it in Fight Net, when we talk about the keystone victories in Canelo's career, when the time came, be it as young as he was, that conversation is a different conversation. But regardless, he's young and he fights Floyd and he loses. Had he beaten Floyd, it would have fucking been over the top, right? But he didn't. Regardless, can this fight, let's say for the sake of argument that I'm sorry, not Floyd, that Canelo ends up fighting Crawford and beats Crawford. He is the number one pound for pound dude as on many's list. Crawford, I'm saying it. I know it doesn't come close to what would have been had he been Floyd, but would that count sort of as a consolation prize in his career to say, well, who the fuck did he beat? Well, he did beat Triple G yada when he was older yada yada, and everybody putting all these things under a microscope. He didn't beat Floyd when it counted, but if he beats Crawford when it counts, could that be some sort of consolation prize for saying, "Oh shit, yeah, he's one of the all-time greats because he ended up beating Crawford, even though Crawford is smaller."
No, and that's actually why they're saying Canelo's didn't denying this first offer.
Hmm.
It's not a win-win situation for him.
Hmm.
That he takes the fight. Or how do you say, it's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah,
He
yeah, okay,
takes the fight, he wins. They say he was a
yeah,
small
he,
guy.
he was,
I'm
yeah,
gonna say it,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
especially if he hasn't even fought at 160. It's
Hmm.
like, bro, yeah, with the what? You don't see welterweights asking lightweights to come up just to mop them. Oh wait, Hoya versus
Well, I mean, but he didn't call him out though, did he? He didn't call him out. It was
and
Shane. Yeah,
you
okay,
just don't see it happening too
yeah, right,
much,
right. I
right?
see.
Two
Yeah,
divisions coming up to fight the guy. It is. I agree with Canelo. Well, the money's good for him. You're gonna have the haters go, "That's a bullshit fight." And if he loses, now do you ever beat a middleweight if you lose to a freaking welterweight?
sure.
Right? So then they have that argument that he would never. Now his all-time list drops because he lost to a man that's freaking two divisions under him, 14 pounds or whatever under him. So I don't, me personally, as a boxing historian, a guy who likes legacy in these fighters, I don't like the fight. I think it does nothing for Canelo. For Terrence, it's a great fight. If he wins, I have him an underdog. So I don't think he's going to win, but that's on him. He wants to take the fight and risk it. Go ahead. If he did win, what an accomplishment. Obviously, I'd be
Mhm.
eating my words and then praising the shit out of Terrence Crawford's career. But going into it, I don't like the fight, you know.
Yeah. All right. So it would have to be like, let's say Floyd does come back and say like, I need some fucking money. Boom, he's got himself a fight with Crawford. And or Canelo. You don't think he goes directly to a Canelo rematch? You don't think like that's something that people would want to see? I mean, granted, Canelo isn't doing the pay-per-view numbers that he used to be doing, but it's still more than Crawford. So let's say Floyd is in a position where like, damn, I need some fucking money to pay out these dudes, get off my ass. You don't think his go-to would be Canelo instead of Crawford? His first fight, I mean.
Um, Floyd's first fight would be Canelo.
Yeah,
I, I
instead
s-
of coming back to Crawford, yeah, because I mean, Canelo again, not denying that he's the pay-per-view seller that he used to be, but it's still more than what we've seen recently of Crawford. So, would that be the rematch? I guess it'll be. He knows he could probably get a fuck ton more money out of Canelo maybe instead
yeah,
of
but
going direct to Crawford.
if you start high, then you're gonna come back low. He's gonna start at 168 to then what? Meet Cry. I would rather you meet Crawford at a catch weight between 154 160 maybe.
Mm,
If you come back, you win that fight, you then step up and fight 168 for Canelo. And it'll be a catch weight again, probably for Floyd. I'm not saying for Canelo,
right.
definitely a rehydration clause, but Floyd probably comes into that fight at 162. So he would not be 168. I think
No,
we
yeah,
can, because it takes away all of his advantages, his
sure.
reflex, his speed, his movement. So definitely Floyd's coming in smaller on that fight. Um, but yeah, I would start with Crawford because I don't like to say he's the easier match, but it makes more sense to to start with the smaller guy leading into the Canelo rematch, in my opinion. That's me after 5 minutes talking to you about it.
Sure.
So next week I might have another game plan where I have a reason why. But as of right now, if I'm Mr. Turkey Ali Sheik, um, I'm looking at what are the odds or chances that Floyd would come back. And look, I looked it up. It was 3 years
Mm.
that he took off. He fights Kevin Howard, this Sugar Ray Leonard. 1984, May of 1984, he defeats Kevin Howard.
Mm-hmm.
He comes back 3 years later, April of 87, and beats Marvin Marvelous Hagler in one fight. No warm up, no nothing.
87. It wasn't 89. It was 89, wasn't it?
87. It
Oh,
says April of 87.
oh
The
shit. I thought it
80,
was.
yeah, the 89 he fights Hearns and he fights
Oh,
Duran in
okay. I
89.
might be getting mixed up. Okay, okay.
Yeah. So
Wow. Okay.
and then for you guys that are like, oh, then you're gonna go around and fight Canelo after so long.
Mm.
He fights Roberto Duran in 1980. His last fight with Roberto Duran is 9 years later in
Mm.
1989. So it can happen that Floyd would then come back to fight Canelo so many years later when they
Yeah.
fought probably in 12 or something like that. 13. When did
13, 13. I remember
13?
it being September of 2013. Yeah, because it had the undercard of on the undercard it had Matisse and Danny Garcia. So I do remember that. So I'm fairly certain it was 13.
So we've seen Leonard do this kind of game plan, this timeline. We've seen, so it's kind of it, dude. Floyd saves boxing, right? With his
Mm.
numbers, that
Mm.
would definitely be a fucking 2 million pay-per-view buy. Would be him coming back to face Terrence Crawford or Saul Alvarez. So yeah, I like it. I like where the position Floyd's in. Um, Sad that he's in this position, obviously, but you know what? He had a lot of smart people around him telling him to stop doing what he's doing, and he laughed at everyone. And when I say that, you guys, I'm talking about a lot of media members. A
Mm.
lot of us that don't have the money that Floyd has, didn't make the business decisions that he's able to because of the wealth that he owns. Still, I was sitting at tables hearing people with concern. Did you need that for $18 million watch though, Floyd? Do you really need a house that has 6 luxury cars that you don't drive? You said it. You don't drive them. And he's just I'm Floyd.
Mm.
So he can't act like he wasn't warned by everyone and even the
Mm.
media members that followed his career leading up. So in that sense, he can't be mad that we're hearing what we're hearing about his. He's not a Saudi prince. You heard me tell you that how many
Mm.
times, Miguel? But he's
Mm-hmm.
trying to live like one. Well, fuck, dude. Now we're here, not even 10 years later, saying he's flat broke. Or
Mm-hmm.
he's
Or
broke to the
he's
point.
owing. He's
Yeah,
owing. Uh,
it's his cash. That's what I mean, people. The
mm.
cash is gone. Floyd can't go, oh, I owe you 50 mil. Don't worry about it. Hey, Bank of America, wire him 50 million so I could get out of here. That obviously isn't happening right now.
Mm. Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this fucking conversation with what's going on over there. All right. Well, that brings us to the lead up, I guess, of this weekend's 5-on-5 card that we're gonna have on DAZN. It's like a pay per view? I don't even know if it's like a pay per view at this point. But anyway, we're gonna have a pretty solid card. Actually, so the main event of that 5-on-5 card is Matchroom versus Queensbury. The main event will actually be Deontay Wilder and Zhang. I can't pronounce his name.
Zing Zang.
Yeah. Well, I call him Zhang because that's his last. Well, I think in Japan or China, like the names are reversed. Like the first name is actually the last name. I'm gonna call him Zhang for the sake of me being able to pronounce it. And Wilder. That's gonna be the main event of that card with Daniel Dubois and Philip Hergovich being the co-main event, which I thought might be the for the vacant IBF belt. I think they were trying to strip it from Usyk. I read recently that Usyk has actually submitted a request to get an exception so he doesn't end up losing the belt. Whether or not that's going to go through or not, but the IBF have already received it, so that's on the way. So as of right now, it looks like that co-main event on the card is not going to be for the IBF belt, but beyond that, there's several other ones. Then we have Let me see which other ones here. Raymond Ford, Nick Ball, right? Is going to be for like a WBA belt, and a couple of other ones. Willie Hitchinson against Craig Richards. So it's going to be a pretty solid card. It's going to be 5-on-5. And then is Bivol still fighting, right? He's still going to be fighting. It's
Yes.
just not going to be
Yes.
against Beterbiev. So it's going to
It's
be
still an
against your general.
undefeated kid, though. He's undefeated, the
Yeah,
young man he's fighting.
Malik Zinhad for Bivol's WBA light heavyweight title, which is, I guess, from what I'm reading here, is that's not going to be the main event. The main event was supposed to have been, Beterbiev and Bivol, but that's not going to happen since that's gone. And then Austin Williams versus Hamza Shiraz. Fuck, I'm gonna butcher these names, but nonetheless, yeah, we're all, let's be honest, we're all looking forward to seeing how Wilder looks in this fucking fight, right? After losing to Joseph Parker. So that's kind of one of the things we're gonna see. We thought, as a matter of fact, me and my pops were talking about it when we saw Zhang last fight, because he too lost at kind of a controversial decision loss to Parker. We're like, that Zhang dude, he beats Wilder. He beats Wilder. We didn't know they were actually playing the fight, but it's like that fucking dude, he can beat Wilder. So, I'm looking forward to that card at 5-on-5. It seems to be kind of maybe potentially starting a trend, of like 5-on-5s. We're hearing it earlier, right? We talked about it earlier with the USA versus Mexico card, basically. So what do you think about this card, man? Like it's we talked about it with a couple of times, but we didn't put too much attention into it. It's going to be in Saudi Arabia as well, right? It's going to be over there. I don't know if it's going to be I can't pronounce it. Rahit season or whatever the hell it is they call it. Wherever location, I can never pronounce it properly, but the location that they are in Saudi Arabia is where they're going to have this card. And I'm looking forward to it. I want to see how Wilder looks after his fight with his loss to Joseph Parker, because he didn't look like his normal self, right? His luck, he tried to outbox him and it didn't work out. Zhang, on the other hand, I think Zhang can take Wilder's best shot. As big as that motherfucker is, I'm sure he can take his best shot. So it's gonna be, it's gonna be a good card, a really pretty solid card that I'm looking forward to watching. Sucks that we're not gonna get better BF and Bivol, but regardless, we got a nice little consolation prize in this. Looking forward to it. What are your thoughts on this fight, on this card, I should say?
What's weird is on the five that I'm seeing, it doesn't have Bivol on there anymore.
Oh,
Are
really?
you seeing it on yours still?
Yeah, I went on the DAZN website, and it says that it's 8 hours old. So 8 hours
All
ago
right,
they
all
posted
right.
this.
So as long as he's
So
still on there, okay.
yeah, according to this right here, this is what it's showing. Matchroom, just 2 p.m. Eastern, the 2 p.m. Eastern, the U.S. time, 5-on-5, and then it tells you the devices you can watch it on, yada yada. So yeah, it's showing Danny Dubois, the Philip guy, and then Bivol, Malik Zinhad.
Um, it's a listen. It's a good card. It's not the greatest for America because
Sure.
obviously these are a lot of overseas fighters, right?
Yeah.
We only have a few named fighters here that are known in America. Don't know how great the pay-per-view is going to do though. If it is pay-per-view, I'm guessing on this one.
Excellent question. I don't know. I'm pulling it up right now, but it
All right,
doesn't.
yeah, figure that out. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's the zone or if it's pay-per-view, but I believe it is pay-per-view, which is gonna hurt here in the States because Wilder is a great fighter. He's been great entertainer, but with the losses that he's faced recently, I don't know how big his market is for guys going, you know what? Saturday night I'm gonna stay home and drop $70 to watch Deontay Wilder. That market might have dried up a little with the 3 defeats he's taken here recently. Still like the fight. I'll
Hmm.
watch it. Um, Both of those guys are on the brink of a title shot. I'm dead serious. I am very interested. If Wilder beats Zhang, decision, knockout, doesn't matter. I hella want him versus Usyk because I think Usyk deserves it. Usyk deserves to the completion of annihilating the big three that everybody thought was going to take the heavyweight division into the next era, or they were going to be the face of this era. I guess a better way to say it because they're all in their 30s. He deserves that fight. So I'm really interested in Wilder beating Zhang. I got a lot of interest in that fight because I want Wilder to win that so we can get Usyk Wilder. If Zhang wins, I'm not gonna jump off a bridge, right? The
Sure.
ball keeps rolling in this sport, so it'd be great. But I would like to see a natural completion to that argument for the era, this last era, and Usyk's on the brink of doing that. The how do you say the young man Dubois that's
Mm.
fighting Flipper Javik?
Yeah.
Flipper.
Philippe. I'll say Philippe's first name. That's my best
Look,
guess. Oh.
Daniel Dubois was a few inches away from being the heavyweight champ of the world.
Mm.
Right? He's a few inches away, you guys. I kind of thought it was a legal shot, but whatever.
I thought it was in the belt. I did think it was in the belt. It
Right?
was.
It was. It was. But can't argue it. Usyk gets up and handles business because really Dubois should have went back to the body and made it happen again, and he
Mm.
doesn't. So shut the hat off to Usyk for adjusting and getting that win. But he's got skill. This guy, Philip.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just call him Philip.
Yeah. We'll call him Philip.
All right, Philip. He's on the brink. He beats him. He's now the contender, top contender. So it's a good fight, interesting fight for diehards that are all into ratings and guys getting title shots and shit like that. The rest of the card, bro, don't really, besides Bivol, and I guess he's not on yours. I mean, he's on yours, he's not on mine, but I'm glad that he's still in there. And I did hear that his replacement was an undefeated fighter, so I will be interested in that fight too. Besides that, this is a UK. This is a UK 5-on-5.
Yes,
This
well,
is
it's you've one promoter versus another promoter, not even really U.S. versus U.K. or anything like that. It's just one promoter from against another. Just to confirm, it is
oh,
pay
it's
per view and it is you sit $70 on pay per view card. Go ahead.
wow. So it's $70 each.
Yeah, 69.99 United States of America.
I thought His Excellency would have gave us a break on that because there's not really that many Americans on there, man. You see, this is where you got to be smart about marketing. And I'm not trying to be Lee Honish right now, but Lee taught us a lot, right?
Sure. Yeah.
This seems like one of those fights where Lee would be like, "Yeah, that's not a good price. You got to, you know how many more buys you'd get if you put this at like $40 or $35? Seriously."
Yeah. Yeah,
Then you would
especially
have
considering how few Americans, how few people, I guess, Americans are going to know the fighters on here that are, they would probably support it more if there were more Americans on the card. But regardless, that's not the point of the card. It's just one promoter versus another promoter. But $70,
there's no way I'm buying. Yeah, there's no way. There was way too many. Once again, got to go stick with my boy. There was way too many pay-per-views these last 2 months to put this one at 70. But if you guys did it at 35 or 40, I promise you I would have bought that shit hands down. No, not even thinking about it. And I'm doing a play-by-play for your telecast.
for our entertainment.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. You got to bring the price down on a fight like this. So I'm not happy. I don't like that price at all. That's sad because that's not going to do good in America where the fight is worth $25 or $35 in my opinion. For 25, it's a great deal. That's a great afternoon for us diehards. But 35, I would still pay to watch Zhang, Bivol, Wilder versus Zhang, the Bivol fight, and then even the Dubois fight because that is for a contender for the belt IBF. I would buy it for 35. I will not buy it for 70. No.
No, definitely not. But I mean, it is going to be an early, afternoon fight. Like I said earlier, it's going to be 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which I believe is 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is where both Andrew and I are. So it's gonna be a pretty solid fight, and it's gonna be one of those like early afternoon fights. So at the card that I'm looking forward to, it'll be a nice little lunch as soon as I get off for work kind of thing. So it's going to be interesting because there's going to be potential contenders coming out of it. I want to see where Wilder's mindset is. We kind of saw during some of the pre-fight press conferences, like leading up to this fight, we kind of saw a little bit of that bomb squad, Wilder again. So I'm looking forward to see where he's looking or how he's looking, and then of course whether or not he was in any way, shape, or form deterred because of the loss to Parker. But it's gonna be a good fight. So make sure you guys tune into that DAZN pay-per-view. I believe they're the only ones that are gonna catch that Queensbury versus Matchroom 5-on-5 this Saturday, June 1st, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Well, I think we got everything covered. I'm not sure if there was anything else, any other breaking news you wanted to throw in here, Andrew. But I think we got all the topics that we wanted to get out. And we're pretty good. We're reaching an hour and 40 some odd minutes now, so I think we're good. A good time to end the show. Anything else popped up on your feed? Any sort of breaking news or anything?
No, I was going to my horse races to see if I had won the money to buy the pay-per-view because I had made a bet. I made a bet before the races
I
start,
see.
but now I'm logged out. I don't know why I'm logged out. I'm a little nervous on why I'm logged out of my DRF.
Oh.
So I don't know if I won or not to buy the pay-per-view. But that was gonna be my ending, was to see if
Ah,
my 10-cent bet generates $79 in winnings, baby. Come on.
uh, that would have been the
Uh,
pay per view prize. Been like, perfect. Here you go. Your wife would have been like, no, no, no. That's gonna go like, no, pay per view, no. Keep
yeah,
it,
hey, she said that last week. You know what's been saving me, bro?
uh,
They're not going to the bills. When you buy the pay-per-view, they've been just charging us right then and there.
oh
Maybe
yeah.
I'm late on all my bills. They're like, "Fuck you, you guys got to pay now. You
No, no,
pay
it does
now."
it with us too. No, every time I order it on DAZN, they don't bill me later. Every time I order ESPN,
All right, there you go.
or I got Dish, so like I have like a Dish Latino package because for my folks, I love a lot of Spanish channels, so we'll watch that shit, right? But when I order it on there, no. Do you order that fucking like I don't remember them billing us. Maybe cable is different from streaming. Maybe they do still bill you on cable but not streaming. But yeah,
So I get an allowance, right? Like all
yeah,
men who take care of the household, you get an allowance of the money that you make,
sure.
and so as long as it's paying out of mine pocket, I see. She did look at me crazy, but she did. She still bought it because I put it on my card. Take my card, whatever. So yeah, I'm getting lucky on that side,
All right. Well,
but not
hopefully,
$70, man.
no.
Fuck.
No, I'd be down for a $40 fucking pay per view, some shit like that. Because even like, I'm back on New Year's. I don't know if it was this year or the year before that when what was it? Andy Ruiz fought Luis Ortiz. It was on pay per view and it was a PBC pay per view, and I was like, I don't want to have to watch it. And it was like 45 bucks. I was like, oh. Actually, I would order this shit. It's only 45 bucks. Okay. So I straight up ordered that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when their pay per views are like that, dude, it makes me want to order it even more so, knowing that I know who the guys are. I'm going to want to watch them fight, but is it worth the money that they're charging? $70 is a little excessive in my opinion, but
What I'm nervous on about that announcement is why wasn't DAZN or ESPN interested in this fight? Zhang has fought with ESPN before. He was a top rank. DAZN taps into anyone. They don't give a
mm,
shit. If you're Dylan, they're willing. You know what I mean?
sure.
And why did this fight not receive a platform? So it wasn't on pay-per-view. It's just weird that Bivol versus Better Beef was going to be shown on ESPN for free. You remember this, right? Beaver
Oh
B
shit, was it? Damn.
Yes, they had said His Excellency had given them so much money that it allowed them to put the fight on for free. Bob came out and
Mm,
said that.
mm,
And then it just goes away because Better Beef is not involved anymore. It's
yeah.
weird to think that they thought ESPN's officials were like, "Oh, Better Beef's off. Yeah, we're not going to get any views now." Who the
Mm,
fuck does Better Beef draw?
yeah.
Zhang versus Wilder is probably going to be your biggest eyeballs that night. I'm dead serious with the
Mhm,
how hot Zhang is in the Asian community or Chinese American community. He's definitely going to get watched by a lot of people. And then you have Wilder, who's known by everyone else, or
yeah.
everybody, not everyone else, but everybody.
Sure.
He's gonna get freaking eyeballs on him. So it's weird that they turned away from this fight just because Arthur Beterbiev wasn't involved. And then it's weird that he couldn't find another platform to take it up. Because I can guarantee you this thing gets more eyes it being shown for free on ESPN Plus or DAZN than it is on pay-per-view. We're
Yeah.
just not going to buy it. Let me tell you guys something. If they're saying 20 million skipped out on Usyk versus fucking Fury,
Mhm.
I'm not poking you, but you know what I'm saying. They're definitely not buying freaking Zhang versus Wilder, man. We
Sure.
got to use our heads here.
Mm.
Ah,
All right. Well, that brings a conclusion to our Sunday show. As always, guys, thank you so much for joining us and listen to us ramble about the happenings of boxing. Make sure to tune in this weekend to catch this 5-on-5 card. Once more, June 1st, this Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time on DAZN pay-per-view. Thank you once more for joining us. You guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we will see y'all next week with the results of what's going on with this 5-on-5 card. So see you guys then. Peace.
All right, I think we're off. I hit stop.
All
Yeah.
right.
Oh, nope.